Football fans react to Shedeur Sanders. CFL report. If things don't work out for Shedeur Sanders in the NFL, he has a fallback option. Sanders was selected by the Cleveland Browns with the 144th overall pick in this year's draft. Unfortunately for the former Colorado star, he entered a really crowded quarterback room that consists of Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel. Even though he reportedly received fewer reps than his teammates during mandatory minicamp, he hasn't allowed that to break his spirit. My goal is to be the best teammate and to be as polished as I can be in every aspect, Sanders said. I view things as I got time. I got time to be able to grow and mature and be able to understand the ins and outs of the defenses and be able to get the good insight from the vets in the room. So I look at it as a plus. I got time to actually be able to really have a great understanding, and whenever it's time for me to play, then it's time for me to play. But I'm not looking too far in the future about all that. Sanders should, in theory, have plenty of chances to showcase his skills during the preseason, and if that doesn't happen, he could always think about taking his talents up north. On Friday, it was revealed that Sanders was among the notable names on the CFL negotiation list. This is the name on the list if you're going for cartoonishly loud and fun name recognition. Marshall Ferguson wrote, "You already know the story," and the bloodlines as Shedeur Sanders showed off $1 million watches to opposing student sections while enjoying his visit to Colorado with legendary dad Dion. Can you image the buzz around Sanders to Toronto? I can't yet, but after falling all the way to the 5th round of the NFL draft this year, never say never. This is standard practice in the CFL, but that hasn't stopped fans from speculating about Sanders' future. Shedeur Sanders to the CFL will be hilarious marketing, one person replied. There's no way a Sanders will play in the CFL, lol. But I understand the procedure for that league, a second fan wrote. It would be a kind of fun, full-circle moment if he sort of mimics his college career in the pros. Start off facing lesser competition to then transition to facing better opponents, one fan commented on X. Shameless using Shedeur's name for clicks, another person said. Sanders hasn't commented on this news, nor is he required to. He's getting himself ready for training camp. The Browns will begin training camp later this month. Their first practice session, open to the public, is on July 25. The sun was barely rising on the football forums when the whispers began. Shedeur Sanders to the CF. Read one post on X, formerly Twitter, followed by a cascade of exploding brain emojis, fire gifs, and the inevitable debates that swirl around a name like Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, the charismatic, sharp-aimed quarterback of Colorado and the son of Hall of Famer Deion "Prime-Time" Sanders, has never been just another college QB. He's a brand, a spotlight magnet, a polarizing figure who blends high-end fashion with high-stakes football. NL reports that he might consider the Canadian Football League as an alternative path to the NFL or a temporary detour have left fans stunned, skeptical, and in many corners of the football world, surprisingly intrigued. CFL? Ain't no way. The doubters, I'm sorry, but there's no way Shedeur's playing in 40-degree weather in Winnipeg, wrote a fan from Georgia, echoing what many others seem to believe. Man got $100 0 K watch on his wrist and NIL deals lined up. What's he doing riding buses through Saskatchewan? This was the core argument from the skeptics. Why would someone with Shedeur's profile, celebrity connections, lucrative endorsements, and a father who coaches him go play in a league where the end zones are massive, the rules are quirky, and the stadiums rarely crack 30,000 fans? That's not a knock on the CFL, they insisted. It's just that Shedeur doesn't need the CFL. He's prime son, one Redditor posted. He'll get his NFL shot no matter what. He could throw 15 picks next season and still get a combine invite because he brings buzz. But what if? The believers. Then came the other side, the romantics, the strategists, and the Canadian fans who dared to dream. Yo, imagine Shedeur in the CFL for one season, a fan from Toronto posted in a Reddit thread that quickly blew up. Dude could dominate, pad his film, learn under pressure, and then slide into the NFL with more polish than half these QBs coming out. Some pointed to past CFL to NFL success stories. Warren Moon, Doug Flutie, Jeff Garcia, players who used the Canadian League to refine their game, prove their resilience, and break through. In today's social media fueled world, one viral throw under the Friday Night Lights in Hamilton could be all it takes to reignite Shedeur's hype. Besides, many noted, Shedeur isn't just following the traditional QB pipeline. He and Deanna are rewriting the playbook. They've never cared about tradition, said one fan. They care about impact, about doing it their way. It's bigger than football. The thinkers amid the memes and highlight reels, a more reflective conversation began to form. Shedeur in the CFL wouldn't just be about football, tweeted one writer. It would be a cultural moment. The idea of a high-profile African-American quarterback, one with millions of followers, media clout, and a name that carries generational weight, making a detour into Canadian football isn't just a transaction. It's a statement. It challenges the rigid hierarchy of football progression. It asks, what if the NFL isn't the only way? If Shedeur balls out in Canada and still makes it to the league, that opens doors for a lot of guys, said a coach from Texas in a podcast clip that gained traction. It shows there's more than one route, especially if the NCAA or NFL system ain't working for you. The Canadian reaction, hope meets hype. North of the border, the energy was different. By noon, fans of the CFL's struggling franchises were speculating wildly. Toronto Argonauts fans envisioned Shedeur in double blue. BC Lions partisans were already photoshopping him in orange and black. Bring him to Montreal, one fan pleaded in French. We need the flair. TV sports shows across Canada debated what it would mean for the league. Ratings spike, merchandise surge, younger viewers tuning in. Shedeur wouldn't just be a quarterback, a TSN analyst said. He'd be a movement, a spectacle, a test case for what the modern CFL could be. One Canadian fan on TikTok summed it up with a grin. Y'all laughed at the CFL, but what if primetime brings his son here? Y'all gonna pay attention then? The real question, would he actually do it? For all the fanfare and fevered discussion, there's still no official confirmation that Shedeur Sanders is even considering the CFL seriously. Coach Prime has hinted at NFL aspirations for his son and repeatedly emphasized that Shedeur won't enter the draft until he's 100% ready. But readiness could mean many things. Maybe the NFL isn't knocking as hard as expected. Maybe Shedeur wants a season as the guy somewhere. Maybe he wants to prove he can thrive outside his father's system. Or maybe the CFL offers the one thing every Sanders seems to crave, the unexpected stage. Look, whatever happens, one fan posted in a viral comment, Shedeur ain't doing what y'all expect. He never has. That's why we're still talking about him. Ha ha.